Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name's Hatter and today I figured I'd give y'all a nice tour of my survival world. As you can see, it's been going on for 4,590 days. Put a lot of work into this world, as you can see behind me with this big guy. That's my iron farm right here. I put a lot of work into this world and I figured I would take you guys on a tour so you could see what all I built and what all is to come on the kinds of things that I'll be showing how to do and build. Yeah, this is just my base right here. I play on this realm with my kids. We started it about 2 years ago almost, and it's just been going an ongoing project ever since. Let me see if I can't kill some of the wind in this mic here while I'm flying. Let's take this on down. We don't need all that sound. But yeah, right here, I built a base that pretty much could do it all, but kept everything spaced out enough that my kids would be able to come over here and it wouldn't just utterly destroy their tablets. Um, had a problem with my bases. Normally they couldn't get within anywhere of render of my base. Uh, this all started off under here, so I figured this would probably be the best place to start this whole tour. Now, originally, everything out here you see, there was nothing. I built every bit of it. This was the only original part. I found a underwater monument, and I gutted it and cleaned it out. I figured at first it was a great place because my kids wouldn't come near it to mess my stuff up because of all the spawning of all the guardians around everything. So I wound up doing is in here, after you gut out all the walls, this is what a monument looks like empty inside. I went ahead and put in a auto sorting system. The way my system works is you put everything in this chest right here. You can set shulker boxes. You can set shulker boxes directly on these hoppers right here, and it would unload everything for me and start its trip, going all the way around. Pretty much every block you can think of, I have a box for it at this point in this world. Every type of enchantment has its own double bookshelf up there going all the way around. Uh, had so many spots that some of them still didn't even get filled in yet. I didn't find a need for sorting the item yet. But anything that didn't go in there wound up in this massive overflows right here that is where I tend to pull from and create the new sorted items that needed to be put in. All my different types of armor up there, all listed. And then anything and everything I figured that just didn't make sense for a having to go through the hassle of doing sorting, all went up here. And as you can see, my base stays a mess with shulker boxes. And then down here is just more things that I did. All my workstations and stuff. When I'm standing far enough away, this spot right here actually spawns slime, and they hit that over there and get picked up by hoppers, which I use a lot of slime. I actually wound up putting in an actual slime farm. I'll try and remember to go and visit if I can remember exactly where it is, somewhere right here. Um, but all my workstations, I've just about got every one of them in this world from my templates. Glow squid farm right here when I'm working off to the other side. Glow squid spawn, and there are axolotls in there that kill them. There you can see one. And all their drops are collected for me. plenty of glow squid drops there. I have an amethyst mine right here. There's no need in really going all the way down there and showing y'all that. My AFK fishing spot where I sat here with mash storage up under it that just keeps going there. At one time I had the guardians dropping through here, but I found that the spawn wasn't as good. So I wound up, that only thing that comes through there now is the drops from the guardian. When my guardian farm up there, I kill, that gets killed up there, and all the drops fall down here, and they get collected into chests down there as well. A lot of areas wound up being decoration, and more of my books, and of course my naive self when I listed them all, sweeping edges, and here this is a bedrock world. That's pretty much the ins and outs of the inside part of my base. This is where it all started. I have my bees right here where they can be farmed. I had more in here, but then this is where I started learning about mob counts and mob spawns. I had so many bee farms in here that nothing was spawning on the whole world. So I wound up having to throttle that back. My armadillo farm for my, well, I'm not sure why that's there like that. I must, I was getting the scoots off of that. I'm not sure. It's been so long since I've even been on this world, but I had them there for the scoots. Now this is one of my favorites, was my potions machine. You remember exactly what you wanted to craft, and all you would have to do is, let's see, what do I got going on? Jump boost. Alright, my water bottles are there, so basically you would just push what you needed. So, basis of all potions is, there you go, your nether wart. And it automatically starts brewing. Then, say I wanted it to be strength, so I'll hit the dust over there. And as soon as that finishes filling up and doing its thing, the next ingredient's already ready. So, I mean, this is a great in-game machine for storing all those kinds of things and, doing mass potions. And one of my favorite things, too, is that I put all my bundles and all my empty shulkers in dispensers, or droppers like that, so I can go out for getting a bunch of stuff. I can just grab however many I want to and go on out my way. Alright, we'll blast back on up here to the top. Alrighty. And basically I wound up building this island over top of the farm because I built the, if I can get myself straight. I built my guardian farm right here, so I built all the land around it and divided it into every biome so that I could grow my own trees right here on the island. I eventually branched off and built an island for harvesting both types of the nether wood. My unfinished mushroom I never finished building there. And so that way I just simply had all my resources right here where I was always working at. Over here is my sugar cane and the bamboo farm. Still adding layers, but this works great. The only thing is I wished I would have left the trough of water in front of this. I will tell anybody, when you start doing them on this kind of mass, this is a good example right over here. You can see the bamboo is not inside to be collected. So with the pistons firing, which this whole wall is nothing but pistons, when it fires and breaks the bamboo there, sorry, I had spaced out for a second trying to remember the word. Sometimes it just shoves it right through the glass because there's no empty spot in front of it, so it just phases right through and you lose a lot of drop. So I would redo that differently if I could. But all of these farms are set up with auto crafters in the bottom end of them, so as it makes the bamboo and drops in here, it goes through this auto craft setup and automatically makes my bamboo blocks for me, so that I don't have to try and craft bamboo blocks. Sugarcane is over here, it's set up the same way. It's set up to auto craft for the paper. I don't think I put in an entryway into there yet, so actually steel was coming into the bottom right here. This is the network of mess that's underneath it, but everything comes through and all my sugarcane gets dropped into here, which it's wide open right now. The wandering trader got in there. Flip that back over. Yep, when it gets stopped up like that, you have to pull everything out of it, and then it'll go back. But yeah, have to keep an eye on that. That wandering trader will get in there and he'll mess up things sometimes, but then all my paper's dropped in right here, ready for me to just pick it up and use it. Massive kelp farm here. Yeah, this thing puts off plenty. I wouldn't suggest builds of this magnitude for people in, you know, like on our SMP and all, builds with this many firing pistons at one time can cause a lot of lag if your system's not up to handling it. But basically everything gets broke, it gets collected over here into that side trough, gets pumped through a system down here, pushed up by water, and they get dropped off. And then as it crafts and turns it automatically into the kelp blocks, they come back up and get dropped down here too. And then everything gets sorted in its correct space, and these furnaces never stop. They automatically get refilled with dried kelp. I think I done burned up all my dried kelp the last time I was on here, but the excess of it, after it overflows all of the furnaces, winds up going into the stacks of chests. Alrighty, right over here I also have my bone meal farm. Moss and bone meal and things of that nature. Yeah, and that thing just sits there and continuously makes moss blocks and feeds them right over into here. And then from there, yeah, I was working on a hanging moss one. I hadn't been on this world since the Pale Garden update was really good and full going, hence all the orange blocks and white wood. But yeah, I was working on making a hanging moss farm over here and never got around to finishing it. Uh-oh. I am out of rockets. I do not know where my rocket box is anymore at this moment. But over here is a bunch of small farms, kind of all dealing with, you know, plants and things of that nature. Glowberry farm, cactus farm, of course your standard 2-block tall flower farm. Now something I come up with myself, I've never seen one anywhere else, is a 1-block tall flower farm. This thing is awesome, but unfortunately it does not work on Java, because you can't bone meal small 1-block tall flowers on Java version, so it kind of killed it for the SMP. But in Season 1 on the Realm, I actually had one of these built, and this is how I made all my dye. Is there any bone meal in it? Yeah, there it goes. And that's how it works. It just bone meals them, breaks the flowers, and it collects them all. You just fill this thing up with bone meal and let it go. You want to change which type of flower, you just break the flower, place another flower there, and that type of flower will start getting bone mealed. But an awesome little farm right here. Never seen one like it. Come on over here. I just did my sheep video on how to do the automatic wool. This is what I have as far as a much larger setup going. You gotta excuse some of the mess here. I was trying to figure out loading chunks and what was loading where I was standing. But this one right here is pretty much a every color wool farm. Sheep on the back side of the other type of colors. Everything is automatically brought in here and sorted in these chests for me. It's awesome little farm. Looks nice. The whole upper area is all the sorting system. Definitely to create a system like this, it's not very difficult, but it did take a lot of resources, a lot of hoppers. But other than that, not bad at all. Wonder if we got some rockets laying around here. Knowing me, I don't. Normally have a box for rockets, but I have no idea where I left them. Alright, well, what we can do is we can make a quick run over here. And we will just make us up some rockets, and I'll show the mob farm I built that I have. This is right over here beside all this. I get so spoiled by my elytra that walking and just swimming and things of that nature seems so slow. Empty some of this mess out over here. Right. Some paper. On this side of my bamboo farm is my mob farm. Well, the farm is up there. This is the mob farm storage. Everything from the mob farm falls down from up top, lands on top of the creeper's head, and gets dropped into the massive sorting system, and goes into here. Everything is sorted, so that all I have to do is come in and get what I want. If I can get to that chest, I think that is the one. Oh, yeah, I'm crouched, dumbass. Alright, there we go. Now we can craft us some more rockets. Yeah. Every type of mob drop is sorted into its own chest here with a massive overflow protection. Let's get the rockets in my hand here. And this would be the actual mob farm I use. Get on up here. It's a multi-tier system. I'm not sure, some of you guys may have seen this one. It's definitely not my design, but it is one of the best mob farms I've ever seen as far as rates. It takes a little doing to build it, but once it's built, it's a great farm. The water automatically dispenses in intervals to push any spawning mobs off the platforms. And the rates of this thing are pretty good, especially for bedrock. myself over here onto the platform. And then basically just sit right here in AFK. This one's not set up to give any experience. As you can see, I didn't have an issue with needing experience. So, basically I just sat right here in AFK holding my looting sword, and as that happened, everything would flow on down and drop on top of the mob's head down there. Not sure if anything got changed. Might be in peaceful mode right now because the kid's been playing on it since I haven't been on here in a while, so that's probably why ain't nothing spawning. Alright, well, from there we'll head on this way. The other big spawn I have over here is big farm I got is a drown farm for my tridents. Very simple farm. This one does use a trident killer, so this one did give me plenty of XP when I stood over here and did this one. Down here, I actually built this because of my wife. This is my turtle farm. The one thing in Minecraft she actually likes. And she just doesn't like what happens to the babies. But this farm just sits here, and you come up and you breed the turtles. Once the eggs hatch, they fall down through the hole. Then as they grow up, they fall down here into this chamber down here, and there's all the scoots and the seagrass that comes from them, making the turtle helmets. I built this entire farm just because I had never had a turtle helmet, and well, figured why not. Alright, let's see. That thing over here, I had it working, but I had some issues with my villager. Is my raid farm. But basically, your raid would happen up there and everything would fall down into here. And I would stand right here and kill everything and collect all the XP, and all the drops would go down into here. And my villager, I think, has been got away from me. I had to replace him about every other time I use this. But you get plenty of good drops. This is how I always farm my totems when I needed more totems. I just dragged me another villager back over here and start it back up. Over here, this is where I moved to my actual bee farm after I settled my rendering, my mob spawning issues. I can get my butt in. There we go. Yeah. I had some issues with this design, with the collection aspect of it. It works for the most part, but it can be a bit of a pain in the butt to actually collect everything. Bottles would get mixed up. I find I have trouble with the darn honey farms. Sometimes they work good, sometimes they don't. Hey, look, there were some rockets. Let's see. Over this way, when we had the Pale Garden update, this was one of the first things I figured out was how I could farm them. Yeah, this shows me they got the world in peaceful. And basically, I just come up here and stand in AFK. Yep, that's what's going on. They got it in peaceful. Everything I've done has all been in hard, and of course, some things have changed since one of the last updates. And now they're not spawning all in the thing like they were. Originally, when this was built, they would spawn and all go in here. And as they did, it would get hit by the tridents in there, and the ore would spawn on the blocks, and then the ore just falls down here. And built this just for the storage collection and the converting of it, because it drops the resin. But up here I have an auto system again that auto smelts it and then auto crafts it into the blocks that I want, so that I didn't have to spend the time doing that. Yeah, there we go. It auto crafts all the resin blocks I want. Yeah. This thing works pretty constant. And then I have a bunch of the actual resin itself for wasting rockets, for when I want to make the other type of resin block. That shulker's sitting everywhere in here. But that's pretty much the ins and outs of like my main part of my base. And this guy over here is my iron farm, obviously. And I've put a lot of time into this iron farm. This is my own design. I didn't copy anything from anybody else. I actually stared at pictures of golems until I thought I was going cross-eyed, trying to get the exact texture and printing of everything 100% right. In here, everything that's up there, string and stuff like that, gets destroyed. This is only for the iron. Basically all my iron right here. I think I did allow string to come through here after all. Oh no. All the flowers get instantly turned to bone meal, and that gets stored. And then all the rest of it's iron. And I come up here and I'll sit down here and AFK it, and my golems will fall down here and they'll get burned up, and it's been a great farm. I actually have plans on hopefully building a copy of this inside the SMP for my house. Another thing I've done over in my base is everywhere has conduits so that I get the night vision and the underwater breathing aspect. It's something that really helped a lot building all of this. Conduits is something I think are really underrated. And for the most part, that is all of my base there. There's a lot more to all of this world. We spent a lot of time in it, as you can see. If y'all would like to see more of it, just leave a comment down at the bottom, and I'll give you a full tour of the world. Appreciate you for watching, and till next time, I'm Hatter.